What is going on today, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the latest episode of Monday Metal Mayhem, or M3 for short, with your boy Jay. That's me. Yes, I'm back. It's been quite a while. I've been gone from the channel. I've been absent for nearly 8 weeks, and I apologize for that. I did another video about it, describing in detail basically why I've been gone.
Where you been at? I've been getting money.
So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link up here. Meanwhile, I'm back with a new track. This one is better than any of my previous ones. I'm really excited about this one, and yes, it is based on true events. I was inspired to write the song, dealing with the emotional roller coaster of what's been transpiring recently in my life. And like I said, this other video, if you want to check out the reasons for all that, doesn't really matter. The point is, I've got a new track. I love this thing. It's got a lot of changes in it, which kind of reflects what I've been going through, what my family's been going through. And yeah, this one's really important to me, guys. So definitely do me a favor, listen to the entire song. It's only 2.5 minutes long. I tend to lose people during my songs for whatever reason, but listen to the entire track first, then decide if you kind of like it or not, and leave a comment down below. I really appreciate it. Whether you appreciate it, whether you like it, whether you hate it, you know, it doesn't matter. I just like to have the engagement. I like to have the feedback. It kind of helps me to better tailor my content going forward. But yeah, I love this song, man. So it is inspired by recent events. There's a lot of changes in it. We're just going to get into the playthrough now, and then we'll do the walkthrough like we always do, the mix breakdown. We'll go through everything in detail. So without further ado, let's get into the song now. Really quickly though, I want to mention, I wrote this song with this new guitar here, this Legator Ninja X7F. This guitar is incredible. It's got Fishman Fluence pickups, 7-string, multi-scale. I'll go through all the details in a separate video, which will come out later this week. So I'll do a dedicated guitar demo review video for this guitar. Meanwhile, just know that this is the guitar that I used to write this track. Guys, I'm excited to be back. I really am. I missed everybody out there. You know, how's everybody doing? How's your summer? Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys have been up to. You making music? Have you put the guitar aside? Let me know what's going on. Without further ado, let's just get into the song right about now. All right, we're gonna go into the mix breakdown right now. Okay, this was the original riff right here. So that riff alone was kind of difficult to play. That was it. That's all I had, and just kind of built it up out of that. So I decided I wanted to do, I know it's cliche, but to do the whole filter sweep thing at the beginning of the song, but I had to do it, guys. I just had to do it. So I found a nice synth patch from just something in Alchemy, actually, in Logic, just a stock kind of sound. I always tweak stuff a little bit. So here's what that sounds like in solo. So yeah, like I said, I did a filter sweep here with the EQ, and then I did a sweep with the delay as well in the plugin. It starts out with no delay and then just kind of builds up at the very end. And here comes the rest of the song. Now that intro just hit so heavy, I didn't really need an impact or any kind of like riser for it. I just felt like that was all it needed. Clean and simple. Then the main riff is just, 2 guitars, bass, and drums. That's pretty much all you get. And then we go immediately into a clean section because you guys know I love my cleans. I don't know. I can't not write cleans in a song. It's a personal problem, I know. So let's check out the clean stuff now because that's kind of the main body, the middle section of the song here is kind of this stuff. So let's see what we have. I'm going to solo the cleans and the leads together so you can just hear that alone first. Okay, so that right there was as simple as it gets. I just found some nice clean chords. They just sounded, lush and full. I'm using the middle position on the guitar and voice 2. So I've got the knob pulled up for the voice 2 sound. It's a little more chimey, which is just what I needed for those chords. And then the second time around, I changed one note on each chord. And that just repeats 2 times. And then I bring in this straight, clean, dry sound, which is basically the same chords, just with a different tone. And I'm just, I'm arpeggiating it essentially. This chord is the same as this chord up here. So I'm playing that same chord with 2 different tones at the same time. I don't know, it just sounded really nice. And then I threw some leads over it, just some kind of ambient lead stuff. I didn't want that to be the main focus of this song. The song is mainly just emotion and percussive rhythm. I just wanted to have a little bit of melody here in the middle, so it just kind of fills it out. And then I just used some stock Logic stuff, basically, to fill out with some loops. So here's what those all sound like together. I just want to talk about this octo lead here because I did a lot of automation on this, and it's just stuff that you do. It's that production stuff you do that's kind of behind the scenes that you almost don't hear, but it does make a difference. So there's a lot going on with just this little section alone. So I just wanted to play this for you guys here and check it out. right, so as far as the automation, just for that little thing, I've got 4 different things going on. Just for that little lead section, first of all, the octaver in Pliniax goes from on to off at a certain point, kind of halfway through. And then the next thing that happens is, the post effects go from off to on toward the end. And then finally, what else do we have? Yeah, the last couple of notes, I add a little gain just so the volume kind of swells up. And I have this stock Logic plugin here. This is just it's a stereo spreader, so watch what this does. I figured the last note just needed a little bit something to kind of fill it out before the rest of the music comes back in. So again, these little tiny production elements, but they make a big difference. So listen for the last note in this section. Just that nice little ear candy. I thought that was really helpful to kind of pull us back into this next section, which is kind of funky. And, the drums start kicking in here again. I have this whole section without drums, but it sounded good to me, so I just left it as is. But here we go with the drums kicking back in. Now here I'm using this clean bass, and sounds pretty good to me. My bass sucks. It always sucks because I don't spend a lot of time with articulations and like pitch bending and stuff, and I really need to. I think I will do that though before I release this onto streaming. Just touch it up a little bit. But yeah, so the clean bass kind of starting to build back up again. And then we get into this heavy stuff coming up right here. So that whole thing is just double tracked, and I probably could make this, quad tracked. Maybe I should consider that to make it a little bit heavier, but it hits pretty good. I will say this about the Fishman Fluence pickups. The tone for me it's not my absolute favorite. I mean, I can get by with it, but I find that with the Fishmans, especially the bridge pickup, there tends to be a lot of like, and a lot of shh, and you just have to kind of pull that stuff out, EQ it out. It's just a little too clear for me. I guess maybe that's what it is. The clarity is it's just so clear that it's giving you frequencies, that you don't really need. So you have to kind of tailor it to suit, basically, is what I'm trying to say. After that, we get into the final section here, which is really my favorite part. And it just kind of builds up, just kind of culminates like, life. Things change, they go up, there's ups and downs, and hopefully you end on an up, right? Hopefully things go better, basically, for lack of a better term. So let's check out the final section here. And also, I will note that for the final section, I did a tempo change. I went from 105 to 160 drastically. There's no transition, it just happens. But for some reason, it seemed to work in this particular case. Okay, and for this last section, I was gonna make this kind of just an outro solo section, but for some reason, I didn't. But what I did was here, it does go into quad tracked for some reason. Well, I guess at the end of all my songs, I like to, like I said, build it up, it just comes to a climax, it culminates to like this high point, and it's just a little bit heavier, a little more intense. So I did quad track this riff with 2 similar tones, really. I'm using Gojira for all of my rhythms on the track, but the heavy gain just has more gain, and the mid gain has, you guessed it, less gain. Just a little bit less, not even that much less. I think I changed some stuff up here. Oh, I think I don't have a drive pedal engaged here. And for the mid gain stuff, I have just a touch of reverb going on to give it a little bit of space and airiness. I like that with my lower gain tones. But yeah, here's where the quad tracking part kicks in, and you can definitely hear what's going on here. Okay, so, I was almost done. I thought the song was ready, but I felt like it just needed something else. And since I wasn't going to do an outro solo like I originally intended, I just found this nice little, blah, 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 if I could talk. I found this nice little synth patch here. Where did I even get it? Also Alchemy, okay? It's just a little bit different from the intro synth, I think. But I don't want to mess with any of these settings because, you can tweak stuff and not even know you adjusted anything. So I got to be very careful with that. So this was the little synth thing by itself, and before I did any kind of processing on it. Pretty bland, and then I added some EQ. And finally, I added a little bit of saturation. I love this plugin. I use it every time. You guys know. It just adds a little bit more of odd and even harmonics, kind of fills out the sound a little bit, just makes it kind of warmer, I guess you would say. And yeah, that's the end of the track, is right there. Okay, so let me put this down. Let me just put that down. All right. So let's talk about the mixing. As far as the mixing goes, this time I kept it pretty simple. I just made sure that I had good stuff at the source. So basically I tried to record, at the right levels and just kind of keep it bare bones until the very end, because I find that when I try to keep, oftentimes what I do is I just try to mix while I'm still writing and recording, which doesn't make any sense, I know, but you just want it to sound as good as possible even while you're playing it or practicing it. So I'm trying to get away from that because I know that's a really bad habit and basically just slows down your workflow. So I try to keep the song pretty bare bones overall, I would say. There's not a whole lot of layers going on. I just want it to sound clear, clean, precise, and to the point. So, it's bare bones. It's just guitars, bass, drums, a little bit of synth stuff in the middle there, not too much going on. And so when I mixed it, I just kept that simple as well. I am still using Ozone 11. I love this plugin. It's great. And, you start off with basically, pick your genre if you want to. So it gives you a rough outline of the typical frequency ranges, the typical EQ spectrum that you would get with rock music. I mean, it's not really precise, but I mean, it's kind of an average overall, I guess. Anyways, what's going on here? We've got some EQ. All this stuff kind of preloads too. Once you do, once you click learn and listen to the loudest section of your song, you always want to do that to make sure that nothing's clipping. It kind of gives you, a preset channel strip with all these different plugins in here for your mixing. So EQ comes first. Impact is probably like an exciter. Imager is, your stereo spread. If it's too wide or too narrow, that helps kind of fix that. Clarity, I think that's kind of like a Soothe 2 type of thing where it kind of smooths out some of your harsh high-end frequencies. Stabilizer is probably like your compressor, that kind of a thing. There's another EQ here afterwards to kind of, pull out or add a little bit of upwards or downwards, compression, multiband type stuff. And then maximizer is basically your limiter. So yeah, I take whatever, whatever I get as the starting point once I do the learn and just kind of tailor it to suit. I guess. So let's just play a little section of the song. Let's play the intro section and just see what's kind of going on in the plugin as we play along to it. What I really like about this plugin is that, especially this maximizer, this limiter here, it gives you so many different options as far as like what's, just different. I guess it emulates different hardware from different eras and stuff like that. So it's really interesting. So if you click on the question mark, which now I can't even find it, of course, it'll take you immediately to the website. So you can get the entire user manual here for Ozone 11. So for instance, I was just talking about the, what the hell was I talking about? So Maximizer, let's go down to that one here. And then it gives you a complete, detailed, information about how to use it, what everything means. And there's all these different modes, essentially. The way it limits, the way it, clips or doesn't clip. There's all these different things here, all these different modes, and they all have different, nice different flavor. But for this one, I went with the this modern sound here, and I really like it a lot, guys. So that's pretty much it for this mix. What do you guys think? Does this song need a little bit more? I want to hear from you guys. Does this song need a little bit extra, a little something else? I know that before I do release this onto streaming, I want to touch up the drums. I want to put some articulations into the bass track so that they sound a little more humanized. And probably this last section here, I might just re-record it because it's still not quite tight enough to where, I like it. But I mean, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. But at the same time, you want to keep things sounding kind of human, kind of, once in a while, just leave in some of those little tiny errors that you almost don't notice. Maybe only I notice, and you might not in the entirety of the mix. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm so glad to be back here with you guys. I missed everybody. I missed doing these M3 sessions, and I've got a lot of new gear coming up, some new videos for that stuff. So stick around for it. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and that you hit the like button. Leave a comment down below. Share this video with your friends. Send it to your mother if you want. I'm sure she'll like it too. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Until next time, I'm out of here. See ya!